I am Peapod, the loud bald man himself, and I am back drinking with Mo.
Hell yeah.
This is Drinkin at Mo's, where we talk about the pros of pro wrestling in the Midwest while sipping on some brews with blessed beers and wrestling. That's my scene. Death matches and lucha libre, it's also mean. I'm a straight up smart goofball, not no kiss ass. I stand tall when it comes to wrestling. I'm the king. I know every move, every fling. Get ready for a wild time with Drinkin at Mo's, where we don't quit. Drinkin at Mo's, that's where it's at, like a power bomb. We hit hard, never flat. Fucking right, we're living the dream. Talking about wrestling, always a scream.
All right, everybody, taking time out before we get this show started. I want to thank Reaper Apparel for having Drinking Mo's be a brand ambassador for their clothing line. They got good stuff. They got t-shirts, they got hoodies, they got beanies, they got lots of great stuff, encouraging everybody to break out of their comfort zone, live their best self, and hey, it's something I try to live every day. Now, be sure when you go and you're finishing filling out your order, use the code Drinking at Moe's, get 10% off, and the link and the code will both be in the description. Let's fucking go. All right, everybody, welcome Drinking at Moe's. Big Mo here. You know the drill by now. YouTube, like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff. Because YouTube's algorithm is continuing to be one big pain in the ass. We're most places on the audio platforms too. Today, I'm excited to have back with me Peapod himself. How you doing?
Hi, Mo. It's nice to see you again, as always.
Oh yeah, great to see you again. I know. Wrestling wise, there's been a lot going on since the last time we talked. King of the Kill weekend was a huge one.
Yes.
I got to watch some of it, happening to be right before I was about to record with Eric Dillinger. And I was remembering, I looked on Facebook. I'm like, holy shit, that's on IWTV. I can just go watch right before I record with him.
Yes, sir.
And then that little thing that I don't know if I released it on YouTube yet, but I know on TikTok of the little cameo by B-Boy.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Colin B-Boy in 2024 was quite something I was not expecting, but such a down-to-earth dude. Had a hell of a great match with Dillinger for Flophouse
Oh yeah.
and Bad Motherfucker. Highly recommend watching both shows. Both were incredible. Both probably Flophouse's best show of the year. Probably, King of the Kill, RPW's really kind of like our WrestleMania of sorts. Really doing some big stuff. I've been all over the place, my buddy Eric for his podcast Nattering with E and him and another great podcast over with Hi-Fi Tom. I want to give them cheap plugs because they donned this new phrase for me, and he goes everything related to the Peapod universe because I've been
Mm,
bouncing around since we last talked around a
yeah.
lot of stuff. I did about a good 7 shows in 6 weeks, and I got a couple of things in the chamber, a couple of new places I'll probably be hopefully showing up, knock on wood, at in the next few months into 2025. So I'm very, very grateful, very humble, very excited for a lot of stuff. We got
Oh,
RPW in November for Malignant, and that's going to be a lot of fun, and just a whole lot of great things happening with good people.
oh, most definitely. I've got nothing but love for both promotions, everybody running it. Because hell, I've had Flophouse, I've had Schwartzy on a couple times, and he's always a fun time.
Oh, he is.
And multiple people through Ruthless, and yeah, nothing but love for them. But one thing, I mentioned to you before recording, well, when we talked about recording for this one,
Right.
that um I have been introduced through my brother-in-law to the world of Magic the Gathering.
One of us. One of us. One of
Oh,
us.
you know what? One of my coworkers, same thing. But man, I've had fun. I have had fun. I'll admit I'm still very much a newbie
Oh yeah.
because I only really got started with the Assassin's Creed set, which, funny enough, one of the cards that I don't have in a deck yet, but I actually have both the foil and the regular from Altair.
Oh,
Like,
nice.
I have both, so I just put them in there, and then Psychic Frog from the Modern Horizons.
Oh, cool. Nice.
And then my most recent and probably my most valuable one from what I've been able to tell so far, the Dragon.
Ah, yeah. The Ur Dragon is a classic staple in a lot of Magic. And what's great about Magic now, and some could argue and some could not, is the intellectual property crossover. You know, stuff
Mm.
like Assassin's Creed. You know, I was very excited when I jumped back into Magic about 2 years ago. Talks of Doctor Who. And I
Mm.
have one of the precons. I have a lot of my decks right next to me, so probably share them on the video side.
Oh yeah.
So if you're not subscribing to Mo on YouTube, you're missing out on this high nerd talk video action.
Oh yeah.
So
You'll be able
uh
to you'll be able to hear us talk, but you won't really get the visual of like, okay, what exactly, like I get what they're talking about, but I can't see it. You gotta watch the YouTube version for that part.
right. So, I got back in, I played back at in Stronghold, late 90s, early 2000s. I played through a lot of my high school years and then I graduated college, or excuse me, not graduated, but I graduated high school. I went into college and then kind of stopped playing because I couldn't find a good group. Still Magic wasn't that popular nowadays, now that it is now. So I fell out of it, and then goddamn Post Malone kept talking about it so much, and I was just like, let me
No.
see what's going back into it. And I jumping back in and just how much of the game has changed.
No, yeah.
The idea of Commander being like the most popular format, and you can use almost every card from any set ever. I really thought that was really cool outside of being, the 60 card standard, and I know so many people now playing Magic. The best thing to do right after the show I did with Divine women's wrestling. It was myself and the a couple of the guys behind the scenes and my buddy Mikey from RPW that's come up with me because he lives literally right across the street from me, and he rolled up with me for extra help. And then another gentleman, Sean Porter, he does referee stuff, but he does a lot of stuff behind the scenes with like the NWA and Exodus Pro and all that. Just name dropping everybody in this conversation, but we played right after the Divine show. It's like back like we were kids again. Like we're going over to somebody's house, we're playing in their basement, and we're just having a good time. We had a 5-person pod. I won. By the way. With probably my meanest deck I own right here. This little pink number is my Soldier Tribal deck. Held by Mural Shield of Argiv. Hopefully that comes up on the camera. All
Oh
right.
yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
So Mural does for white and a 3. During your turn, your opponents can't cast spells or activate abilities of artifact, creatures, or enchantments. Whenever Mural Shield of Argiv attacks, create X/1/1 colorless soldier artifact creature tokens, where X is the number of soldiers you control. So this whole deck is basically Soldier Tribal. It either pumps up soldiers or gives me more soldiers with everything. So it just goes really wide. It can get really mean, it can get really big, really fast.
Oh yeah. Like I know, I don't know if that was the similar build that you definitely kicked my ass on arena that one.
Probably. I have my decks in Arena are kind of versions of this. There's a couple of cards that I wouldn't mind having in this deck. Well, one of them being Anointed Procession, which is just, if you know anything about Magic, it's really just like the white version of the green card called Doubling Season,
Mm.
which is whenever you create a token, you create double that token.
Mm.
But they came out with white. They only came out with it once. They haven't made a reprint of it, so the card goes for $50 minimum. And there's no way I'm going to be paying $50 for a card. So
Yeah,
I'm
my
just gonna
wife would
wait.
probably kill me.
Yeah, my wife would probably kill me. So, it's I recently just made a big purchase myself in a brand new laptop. So, and she even goes like, "You paid that much for the laptop?" I'm like, "Yeah, but it was not only for the amount of what I did for it, but also the production plan that saves me until about 2027. So that helps as well. And then also it'll last for a good while for a lot of the work that I'm going to be doing and dabbling in behind
Oh,
the scenes. So,
oh yeah, no. Some of the stuff I should probably invest in a newer one. I know in the works of getting one set up because Lord knows I have enough going on with everything. This
you're a busy
episode,
man.
oh God, yeah, I am. Oh man, this episode right here, episode 290 officially.
Woo.
I finished up episode 289. I mean, they haven't been released yet, but episode 289, well, 288 and 289 this last weekend. Well, you coming back for this one, I have round two with Jimmy Deacon
Mm.
and then Christian Rose.
Okay.
So that one was one because I was looking forward to because him and I have met a handful of times, and the last time was actually a match with one of my friends where he throws them into my lap and tells me to hold it back his arms. We got a good little laugh about that. But before we get talking into you've been able to play with after some shows, you talked about one of your meanest. Well, the one that I came closest to winning with is my Death Touch deck with I can't even begin to pronounce this name from Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I am not familiar with the Assassin's Creed world, so.
But yeah, Death Touch, whenever a creature you control with Death Touch deals combat damage to a player, put that many 1/1 counters on that creature.
Oh God.
Yeah. That one, hell, if any one of my cards in here with Death Touch, if trying to see if I can find it, I probably should have already had it picked out, but I have Colossification in here. For 20, like you modify a creature and it goes up to 2020. You put that with a Death Touch and yeah, you're gonna.
That is nasty. What I'm currently building right now is this little guy that I got from a birthday booster back in January from a buddy of mine, which is Garth One Eye from Modern Horizons 2. So this is just a goofy ass card. So you tap it. It's cast for one white, blue, black, red, green. So Wooburg. Tap it. Choose a card name that hasn't been chosen from among the following: Disenchant, Brain Geyser, Terror, Shivan Dragon, Regrowth, and Black Lotus. Create a copy of the card of the chosen name. You may cast the copy. So the whole thing about this deck is either blanking this in so I reset my choices, but then also tapping it and untapping it so I can create a bunch of other things, and then it's just going to be shenanigans. I'm still building it. I haven't had the time to sit down and mess with it a little bit. But it's really going to be my janky deck. It's going to be my just obnoxious what the F this deck is. That's what I do. I also run a black green deck with Glissa, Herald of Procession.
That is a nice looking one right there.
Yeah. So I got this version. So this deck really is back at I believe March of the Machine. I created this deck for my draft deck from a pre-release event, and I did so well. I came in like the top 3 people out of like 20 people, and I turned it into a commander deck. For black, green, and 3. At the beginning of your combat on your turn, choose the following: Incubate 2, which was a new thing that they did during that set, which is Incubate is you create an artifact token,
Mm.
basically an egg,
Yeah.
and then for 2 you 2 and then you pay 2 and then you flip it around and then it becomes a 0/0 Phyrexian creature
Mm.
with, and then whatever the number is how many +1/+1 counters is on it. So I get to incubate 2 twice. I get to transform all incubator tokens you control. So I turn them from eggs to monsters. And then either that or Phyrexians you control gain first strike and depth touch until end of turn. So
Mm.
what's great about that is then when they go to combat or when they defend something, they immediately get to send out their damage first.
Mm.
And therefore it's death touch. Therefore, it basically it's an instant kill
Mm.
for that before you do the whole interaction of attack and defense. So it's basically somewhat Phyrexian tribal. A lot of cards involving counters, a lot of boosting other
Mm.
cards that have counters on it. And then this one is what I first build when I got back into Magic
Mm.
2 years ago, and it was during Dominaria United.
Okay.
That pre-release event, I came across this card. It is Ivy Gleeful Spell Thief.
Ooh,
So I got the alternate art on that one. It
nice.
said flying. Whenever a player casts a spell that targets only a single creature other than Ivy, Gleeful Spell Thief, you may copy that spell, and the copy targets Ivy, and it's for blue and a green. So basically, this deck ended up turning into an enchantment deck because then you do a lot of auras. So you put them on one card, and then you can copy that onto Ivy, and Ivy can just build up real quick, real fast, and it's flying. So really, the big thing about her, because she starts off as a 2/1, you throw a bunch of enchantments and counters off of it immediately. Basically, she can go and fly over early for commander damage and end the game that way.
Mm.
So that's the biggest thing. Plus, also, there's other cards that deal with a lot of enchantments on the board and everything. It's a very enchantment heavy deck, but it's Simic, so it's blue green, so you don't got to worry about ramping that much. You're gonna ramp real quickly.
Mm.
It just gets out of hand real quick.
Oh yeah. No, that sounds like an amazing one. I know that out of the 2 other ones that I built, I have my commander here, Riku of Many Paths,
Mm.
which whenever you cast a modal spell, choose up to X, where X is the number of times you chose a mode for that spell. And you can, hell, if you get 1, you can choose between exile top card of your library until the end of turn, or the end of your next turn, you may play it. Put a 1/1 counter on Riku of Many Paths. It gains trample until end of turn. Or create a 1/1 blue bird creature token with flying. So, like, me, it would probably mostly be between the 1/1 counters and the creating the bird token, because I
Mhm.
filled that deck with like a whole bunch of modal spells. Like I lean more creature heavy than anything,
Mhm.
but other than that, whole shitload of modal spells in there, so I can definitely fill up the 1/1 counters or the bird tokens. And then I've been hearing lots of talk about this one, Balin the Haymaker.
I'm not familiar with that one.
It's tap 2. Oh, it deals a lot with the untapping or untapping tokens, where
Mhm.
tap 2 untapped tokens you control, add 1 mana of any color. Tap 3, draw a card. Tap 4, you put 3 1/1 counters on Balin the Haymaker. It gains trample until end of turn.
Ah, okay.
And this one I filled with, a lot of obviously tokens, because you're going to need tokens to fill up that. So a lot of token creation, but then it's also filled with a bunch of rabbits and mice. So like from what I've seen, and for those that are a little more seasoned in Magic than I am, I apologize if I sound stupid for saying stuff like this. But
Right.
from what I've seen, a lot of the ones that I have for rabbits and mice do already have some token creation in there.
Mm-hmm.
But then otherwise, I got some others in there. My Riku of Many Paths is a lot of the creatures I have in there, otters and frogs.
So that's from the Blue Barrel set then.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I've got the bundle box that's practically full.
That's what I did. That's what I because I thought the Blue Barrel set was absolutely fantastic. And then like I don't know, by the time this episode is out, the set will be out because I think pre-release is this coming weekend.
Yeah.
But the Duskmorrow set looks just gross. Just the amount of cards that are coming out of it. This is mean. This is mean ass cards. There's a card that literally goes, you get hit with damage, you can't gain life for the rest of the game. Like what? Get out of here. Are you serious? There's a lot of that stuff. It's gonna be a mean set. And then there's other things. There's the Marvel crossover coming up too.
That I was wanting to talk to you about that one. Because Dustborn, I'm curious, so I'm probably gonna end up getting the pre-release box just to see what I get my hands on and how I'm feeling about it, because I am planning on actually building a deck around the Dragon. So any big mean stuff, but my creatures are probably going to be dragons and dinosaurs, really. But anyways, on to the Marvel stuff, because I had been hearing about that, and it got me thinking about who all would I be excited for them to put in there. Because the Marvel Universe, there is a lot of people that they could fit very well into a card.
I just feel like this is my problem with the Marvel thing, because I understand that like there's too many intellectual property crossovers, and like they're going there's way too many sets coming out a year. All of that is valid. Everything of that is 100% valid.
Yeah.
So when you think about all of that, but also you got to think of the other side. You're going to get more people in the game, but I feel like Disney really shit the bed here. Disney has their own version of Magic the Gathering called Lorcana.
Yeah.
Disney owns Marvel. Why don't you have Marvel in your own freaking game? Why would you turn around and put it to the competition?
You would think.
Now that being said, I feel like it's going to be obviously, I feel like this is going to lean more towards MCU related people and not comic related people. Like you're not going to see obscure comic Marvel characters in this set. I don't believe so. This is my theory.
No, I can very well see that being the case. As unfortunate for some of the Marvel fans out there that might have looked forward to, some of the more obscure characters that haven't made it into the movies yet, because the movie characters are what are going to make them money.
Yeah, exactly.
That's basically where it's nailing down to right there.
Yep. It's going to be, so you're going to get, the Avengers, you're going to get anybody that had any sort of film. You're going to get I want to see what Deadpool is going to be.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I am right there with you. He was one that jumped out to me right away. The other one, because, okay, I talked about Dragon and building a deck with that one.
Yeah.
Thing of big baddies. Well, when you think of those first sets of Marvel movies, the Avengers ones, big baddie, Thanos. You
Oh
gotta
yeah,
figure
Thanos
out
is going
him
to
being
be
in there somewhere.
Thanos is going to be obnoxious as the level as like a lot of other villains in the Magic the Gathering realm. I think also, Galactus maybe who
Mm.
shows up, maybe like the Fantastic Four.
Oh yeah.
I think they're going to lean more. I think they're going to lean more MCU related stuff, but they're also going to give like the heavy hitters, obviously. So you're going to have
Oh yeah.
Spider-Man, Fantastic Four. You're going to have some of the main X-Men. You're going to see some of the main Avengers. You're going to see maybe you're gonna see some obscure characters. Maybe you'll see like maybe a Daredevil, maybe the street level heroes like Daredevil, Luke Cage,
Mm.
Iron Fist. Maybe some of those characters. You're not gonna get maybe Guardians of the Galaxy. Everything.
Mm.
I'm sure Groot is gonna end up being like a
Oh,
green card of something.
that's what I was thinking. That would be right about where I think he would fit in right there.
Yeah, I think Deadpool will end up being. I think Deadpool will be
Red
too on the
black.
nose, so it'll be red black. And I think Deadpool's gonna be a goofy card. It's gonna be in the
Mm.
level of a lot of the unsets that Magic the Gathering has come out with. So your Unfinity, your Unglued. I remember when Unglued first became a set, and it was just like, hey, we're gonna just come out with a bunch of goofy cards that don't mean anything. So like you can't play them in tournament style or whatever. But like Unfinity actually had legal cards in it when it came out. And that was weird. Because they introduced the whole like open an attraction type, subset and nobody fucking played it. Um, but I just feel like Magic the Gathering as a whole is very fun right now.
Oh
And
yeah.
I think more people should play it all together. But I also think they need to slow down.
Yeah, because I know one of my coworkers that's big into Magic. He told me that at least right now it's kind of hard for him to keep up with a lot of it because you know with things outside of the game, he has a lot of stuff taken up time that he would play the game. And you think, oh, Bloomborough comes out, great set, but then you're not that far into it, and then all of a sudden, oh, here comes another one coming out, and like, well, shit.
Yeah. Like that's the whole thing. It's like it's way too much, way too quickly to the point where, you can't give something to breathe. You
Yeah.
I remember when I first played Magic and like you would get a set maybe once a year, maybe two in a year if you're lucky. And they had these cycles, and then you would stay on because the whole idea of Magic the Gathering, you're in this multiverse where everybody is on a different plane, so a different planet.
Mm.
And then you have planeswalkers, which it's an inherent power that they get because of something that happens to them, whether it's torture, trauma, big moments that they have a spark that ignites, and then they can travel to planes. So every set is a different plane, is a different planet, a different area that you are encountering. Now it just bounces all over the place, and like more people should get into the story of it because the story is actually very interesting. But like Wizards doesn't have a good idea of like how to roll those out. People won't read it. They do have a podcast version of it, and I don't even think it's out. Like they did a podcast version of their stories, and I don't think they have them like updated fast enough. And so there's some YouTube channels that'll like condense it down, which is also a little fun if you want to get into like a lot of the lore of it, because the lore of Magic is actually very fascinating, very fun.
From what I've
Um,
seen of it, yeah.
yeah, but like it's hard for like I also want to play the game, but I can't enjoy a set right away because
Yeah.
I'm already seeing spoilers in the next set. And then you have your intellectual property crossovers as well that like all the arguments against Magic and what they're doing right now and the rollout is very valid, and I agree with a lot of it. But also at the end of the day, I love playing with good people, and I
Yeah.
love the camaraderie that I'm having already with wrestling, let alone with now Magic, people playing Magic while wrestling. Like literally, King of the Kill
I was going to
after the
say, I saw the
tournament.
picture.
Yeah, after the King of the Kill, myself, a very bloody, dry blood Remington Roar, a very bloody Dr. Redacted, his fiance Ken's, myself, and Andy, who helps out as an agent and such for Flophouse and who was staying there the entire weekend, all played a pod. By the way, I was knocked out first in that pod, and Dr. Redacted ended up winning the whole thing, even though Remington Roar was dominating most of it.
I remember seeing that picture, and that looks like a lot of fun.
It was a
Because,
lot of fun.
man, I guess when I started the podcast and I started thinking about getting into Magic, I didn't realize how freaking popular, at least on the independent scene, that it was.
So many people play.
Oh,
So
yeah.
many people play. And really, what's really funny is like Dr. Redacted is brand new to the game. Remington Roar has been playing it forever. A lot of other people have been playing forever. Some people got out of it and jumped back in. Like
Jimmy Deacon.
yeah, exactly. Jimmy Deacon was talking about it. He was complaining that he couldn't play. You know, a couple of other people behind the scenes where can't play. You know, me and Mikey play frequently together or events and everything. We play with his roommate and his wife and everything, and just like it's just a fun game and just getting together. I have buds that I play that I've been friends with during my college years that I'm still good friends with to this day. And we all got back together and playing more of Magic all together and such. And like it's just I can enjoy it now more as an adult because A, I have an adult money. Which is good or bad, depending on how you look at it. But B,
Yeah.
it's just like it's enjoying the time together, which like,
Oh,
so much bullshit around so much. Like you need those moments.
oh, most definitely. Hell, I've ran into enough of that. And one thing that one thing it really stuck with me when my brother-in-law was talking about it. He was talking about maybe getting one of his sons into it, who's getting into back into school and everything, and talking about it being a good way to help with reading skills, because I mean you're
Oh
reading
yeah.
the cards and stuff, and then having to do the math skills, with counting the mana and stuff, and hell, for me being a father to be here in the next, before the end of the year actually, because they're inducing her around Christmas, but
Oh,
um, it just got me thinking, man, maybe when my son gets to that age where he's actively reading and going to school and stuff, maybe they can. I've been thinking of different hobbies that him and I can share, and this could be one of them. That could also be a little educational purpose too.
once our my little ones are old enough, I would love to teach them, but I don't know if they'll be into it. They're all not saying this is, and hopefully this doesn't sound bad, but like they're little girls, and I don't think they're really into. However, the game of choice in my home with them is Uno. And
Mm.
we're a big Uno family, and we have like a lot of versions of Uno. We also have the Uno No Mercy. If you've not played it,
Ooh.
that I've had grown ass men get pissed off at each other in Uno. Like in the RPW circle, it's Uno. We play Uno. I have the no Uno No Mercy, which is like they have cards like draw 10.
No.
There is like there's a bunch of other rules in it, everything. There's a mercy rule that if you have 25 or more cards in your hand, you're out of the game.
Mm.
Like we're 30 to 40-year-old men getting pissed at each other for Uno. It's fantastic.
Oh man, it's been a while since I played, but man, I can tell you, yeah, I definitely ran into some people getting pretty angry about that. Or there's a meme about, oh, the people that make Uno have said that no, you can't stack what a draw whatever onto
Yeah.
and then make the, and then sharing it on Facebook and be like, "Ah, I told you."
Yeah. That was a house rule that people like play. In Uno No Mercy, you can do that rule exists. That's an
Mm.
actual factual rule. And now that's a little bit more complicated. So I kind of just negate that because it's already a wild game as it is,
Yeah.
as Uno No Mercy. There's like reverse skips. There's like reverse draw fours. There's like skip everyone. There's a card that you take all the cards of one color and then you place it down on top of that card and
Oh,
play that.
shoot.
It's a good way of getting rid of a lot of your cards. Uno No Mercy is mega fun. It's my favorite iteration of Uno, next to Uno Flip, which the cards are two-sided, and then
Mm.
there's a flip card, and then you flip on the other side, and then there's different colors and different
Uh,
rules for it.
uh,
So those are my two
definitely sounds
favorites.
wow. Yeah, that definitely sounds interesting. Now, okay, there have been talk with going back to the Magic side of things. There have been talk with the universe crossover stuff where people, at least in some of my friend groups, have talked about, okay, what would be a good set for them to make that they haven't made already? For like, and the one that popped into my head right away was actually God of War.
Ooh, you could
But
do a lot with God of War.
that's what I was thinking because there, the lore with everything with different things with magic, and then you think of all the stories involved with the different God of War games. Oh boy, could you do a lot with that?
The only thing about that is that they did a plane called Theros,
Mm.
which had a lot of like more mythical that more of like that style Greek mythology style of characters.
Yeah.
That's where like the affinity or not, excuse me, not affinity, your oh, I forget what the term is. It's if you have so many of a certain type, something gets more powerful. I forget what it's called.
Okay.
I can't.
I I
I'll
think I know
remember
what
it.
you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll remember it right after the call. But they did a lot of stuff like that. So I could see that. Me personally, like I'm a big fan. Like I don't play a lot of video games. I've never been a big gamer. I'm more of a pick up and play kind of guy. I have a Nintendo Switch but it's a Switch Lite, and I barely play it. With everything going on between Magic and then wrestling and whatnot in life, and being a good husband and etc., and not ignoring my wife and things like that. Um, I haven't been playing much, but I always will stop and support the Metal Gear Solid series.
Oh
And
yeah.
I think that is a fascinating story, and you could possibly do a lot with
I can see that.
those characters.
Oh yeah, because I haven't been too big into the Metal Gear series. Well, really, I think the only one that I've ever actually played all the way through is the one for the original PlayStation, Metal Gear Solid.
Right.
Because, and my only thing with that damn game is that one where you're in the machine and it's shocking you and you have to rapidly
Yes.
press up. But I never got the good freaking ending because my hands would just start cramping up and I'd be like, motherfucker.
That's funny.
Yeah, I
So you
never
never
got.
saved Meryl, you just gave up.
I literally, I get to the point where I'm about dead, and I'm like, I can't. That. Yeah, that game was, it was fun, but that part was a real bitch. I
That's
gotta
funny.
say, that part was a bitch. But it also got me thinking. Okay, we've talked a lot about wrestling. We talked a lot about magic. Fitting wrestlers into the magic universe because it got me thinking who would
I like
fit?
this.
Who would fit? And like I came up with a couple and I want to see like if you agree with these and maybe some of your own if you got some in mind.
Is this like
One,
independent or any wrestlers
any,
at all? Okay.
any.
Okay.
I mean, most of my three that I came up with are, not independent, but I mean, now that I think about it, there probably are some that I could fit in there. But
Right.
the reason I picked him is because it makes me think his card could be very similar to what the Alexios card in the Assassin's Creed set would be, just a berserker type, you know, the control of him goes to, everybody else, every turn, but it can't attack you.
Right.
Bruiser Brody.
Oh wow. Yeah.
It
I
got
can
me
see that.
thinking that could be very similar there.
Okay.
And then my last two, because magic, some of the, especially with the old Dustmorn coming up, some of the horror, spooky, supernatural sort of stuff. Bray Wyatt
Yeah, naturally.
and The Undertaker.
Yep. That makes more sense.
Oh yeah,
And with a lot of the characters in Magic, it's not just like the supernatural type
yeah,
of people. It's a lot of like regular people and people that have dealt with a lot of stuff. There's everybody by animals to like mythical creatures to like ninjas to like
mm.
regular, barbarians, it's and regular people. Like
Yeah.
there could be a lot. If we talk about like the old school style of wrestlers, people like Macho Man Randy Savage would probably be
Oh,
fascinating to see as a Magic card. And I'm really surprised that WWE hasn't gone this route yet. I know they have tried their hand in their own little ways of like going to tabletop. I remember playing with my friends in college a tabletop D&D, but it was wrestling. So you create your wrestlers,
mm.
and you create your stats, and then you roll dice for your stats and everything. You talk about move sets, and the move sets only go
Yeah.
for so much and things like that. So I'm surprised WWE hasn't gone and tried to do an intellectual property crossover with a major game. I know they've probably tried their hand on their own version, or at least a digital version on the phone.
Yeah, with
Um,
the super card. I mean,
yeah,
that could fit right in there because you
it
already got
could.
the digital sort of stuff on the super card game. You fit that into like physical stuff like magic cards. It would fit right in there.
I think so. I think, and then if you talk about like wrestlers, so I think obviously you think like I think Macho Man Randy Savage would be good. Marine gimmick John Cena
Mm.
would be very very impressive. If you want to go more diabolical, I mean Randy Orton and really in his
Ooh.
bastard heyday would.
Get him in the black color.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. I think he would be very interesting. I mean, obviously Undertaker, if you want to go more of the supernatural route, I think that'd be very good. If you want to talk like modern people and you always want to have like that one obnoxious character, like much like Johnny Cage is
Mm.
in Mortal Kombat. And I hate saying this because I do not like this man as a wrestler at all. The Miz would probably be a very fun and interesting card to go around.
Because I
Um,
mean, people were talking about wanting him to play Johnny Cage.
right. Yeah. So like you always want to like one of those like obnoxious, like, why is this guy a hero? He's like a bastard with a heart of gold type, type idea.
Yeah.
So that's what I feel like it would be if I switch over to AEW. AEW has a lot of luchadors,
Mm.
so I think a lot of the luchadors could work out in that way. Like
Yeah.
the Lucha Brothers would be very fun.
That they
Um,
would be.
to do. I think Roosh would be really cool
Ooh,
to see as a card. Swerve,
ooh, Swerve. That would be.
Samoa Joe in that more barbarian
Mm.
style of thinking.
Yeah.
Um, if we talk about the independents, the first person that comes in mind that I think would be a great Magic card would be Cruel. Um,
Ooh, yes. And
if you
that
want to
just
go
makes things
that person,
cruel.
that kind of idea.
Oh yeah.
Again with the barbarians and obviously being wrestling fans themselves, so and Magic fans themselves, excuse me, Remington Roar and Dr.
Oh yeah.
Redacted, as
Yeah.
mentioned before, be really fun. I think Atticus Koger would be a
Mm.
great card in that more,
There,
once again, the diabolicalness.
yeah. There's a lot of the deathmatch scene that I could see fitting into, the black or red characters,
Yeah.
like the big guy Matt Tremont. I could see him being a big, a good red one.
I feel like Tremont would be. I think Tremont would actually. I think Tremont would be Wooburg. I
You
think it
know
would be
what?
all.
Now that you bring that up, I could see that.
I think it would be that it can hit all the notes. I don't think he would be one note. I think a
Yeah.
lot of these characters, when you think about these characters, and I think that's what's great about like Magic and like there are characters that are like one
Mm.
note, one color, one personality type and everything, but I always felt like it always just looked cool when you whip out you whip out a card and you have the gold border and everything like, and I'm
Mm.
using this for example just for it because I have like
Yeah.
something like Missy, you have you have the multiple colors, it can work in different ways and everything. I always think that like the best commanders are not necessarily one color commanders. I think the
No.
best commanders are that can do multiple things at the same time.
Oh yeah, because the versatility that, like, okay, we've talked about of wrestlers and having the versatility and being able to adapt
Right.
the multiple color combinations. You get that versatility of all the different stuff that they can do. Most definitely.
I agree.
Now, okay. Now I had mentioned before of one one property that I don't believe has been done yet. What is one that you would think?
Like an intellectual property that could be used in Magic.
Yeah,
I mean, I spoke about Metal Gear Solid. I think that would be
that you did. Yeah.
really good. But if you want to go more a bigger one, you know what? I'd like to see some top musicians, like a
Mm,
record label,
mm,
get into the ground floor
huh.
of Magic.
And,
So I follow a cat. I have him within reach here. I follow a cat who is a UK artist that creates artwork in the style of Magic cards, but they're not real like Magic cards. He comes up with the properties and
yeah.
everything, and they're called Tragic the Saddening.
Ooh.
So I follow him on Instagram. This is where I get a hip. And then he ended up making a lot of his art into real cards. You can like buy boosters and everything. So this one right here is, called The Chain, which obviously
Mm,
it's, related to that. But Fleetwood Mac, and then it has like the ability and then like some of the lyrics underneath it.
okay.
But I have other things like, and he makes them in lieu of like either song names or of like the people himself. Like, for example, The Cure, as you can see here.
Oh.
So he's somebody I want to shout out.
Oh, definitely.
I think he does a very good job. Here's one of, Dave Grohl called Learn to Fly, you know.
Ooh. Yeah,
And
those
these
are
and yeah,
nice.
they're printed really nicely and everything. Maybe if I got like enough, maybe I'll like make a fake deck and then like play with it, and just
Yeah.
to see how it is. One, Smashing Pumpkins. You know,
I like it. I like
so
it.
I feel like if you want to get a proper like get like a historic record label or like a time period, like so like maybe like Universal Media Group has the rights of like certain artists and you can use
Yeah.
some of them, do stuff on. I mean they're doing like Ghostbusters crossovers, they'll do like a lot of these other intellectual properties. If you're going to go whole hog into that world, kind of the somehow other people have been doing it, like the not Minecraft, excuse me. What's the other the Fortnite model where you have all these intellectual properties. If you're gonna go that model, I'd like to see a lot more of like pop culture type ideas into Magic.
Oh yeah. That just got me thinking of whole different slot of stuff. Because yeah, you think of different, you know, record labels or different bands that would fit in, with names of songs like some of those that the guy you follow makes. That, like, wow, that guy. Okay, big shout out to him because the art
Mhm.
on those damn things is impressive.
Yeah.
All right, well, that is about all I have because I mean I only have 4 decks that I built. Oh, I didn't even talk about the one, my Kalia deck.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, that one is fun. I I'm needing to get out and play some more because, like we said, I'm a busy man,
Oh
and
yeah.
the game store near me, their main that damn Commander Night there.
Okay.
Wow, I was having one hell of a brain fart right there. But their main Commander Night is on Tuesdays. And let's just say for the next month or so, Tuesdays seem to be the popular night for people to want to record.
Well, I mean, I recorded on a Monday, but I initially said Tuesday, but it was already taken.
Yeah.
But our Commander Nights, a lot of the places around here in Northwest Ohio, a lot of the Commander Nights are weekends. There's a joint in Toledo called Dragon's Roost that is a coffee shop and gamer lounge.
Nice.
And they do a lot of other games as well, not just Magic, but a whole lot of places. But they do open Commander Night on Saturday nights.
I think
so.
The store that I was talking about, they do have a casual Magic night on Sundays, but from what they were telling me, for Commander, it's kind of hit and miss on the Sundays, but Tuesdays, it's like not a problem. You kind of have to even get there a little early to make sure you're not waiting around for a while.
I can't do a middle of the night. I have to do something on the weekends. I got too many things going on. I know. I mean, my job is 20 minutes away. So like I have to drive and then I come back. I work 8 to 5. So like by the time I get home and then I eat dinner and then I'm working on God knows what other things, I don't got time to go over to a friend's place and go immediately play into it until 1, 2 in the morning. I turn into a pumpkin after 9 p.m. So,
Yeah, no, I have the same issue because I have to drive about 45, 50 minutes. And
screw that.
Yeah, it's well, here's the thing. With my job, it was just on the other side of town, but then we got word that they were moving the stuff to Lincoln. Luckily, the part of town I live in, it's not that bad to make the drive. But it was like, I asked, am I losing my job? Or like, if you go with them, no, you're not. And I'm like, well, okay, I'll go.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I had just gone through a pretty long time of job searching and doing DoorDash full time. And I'm like, I am not going back to that.
No, I don't blame you. I myself am and trying to better myself with my new busier schedule, seeing potentially something more more flexible for my upcoming busy wrestling commentating schedule, especially with everything going on with RPW and Flophouse, and then jumping in with Divine and Fantastic League of Wrestling and couple of other places that the loud bald man is gonna be showing up and calling for. So I'm very excited.
Oh yeah, I am excited with my job having where I don't work any weekends, which the job I had before, it was every other weekend. So getting into commentary, I have that flexibility of not having to worry about it. And thankfully, the next show that I'm like confirmed is happening the next day, Veterans Day. I already don't work that day, so it's not gonna, I don't got to worry about being out too late that night.
Right. But so, yeah, very excited. And hopefully I can hear your commentary when the show comes out, because I definitely want to hear it and I want to help you out and see if I can give any 2 cents on anything. So
yeah, no, definitely, I appreciate that because in my own head, being my own worst critic, starting out, I think I started maybe a little shaky, and maybe it was just the whole fact of, holy shit, I'm actually doing this.
Right.
Then once I got over that, I started getting my rhythm and I was fine. But yeah, no. And hey, the way I look at it is, if I need to improve on something, I'd rather somebody tell me. So that way I know I have to improve on that. Because if they don't, then I just go about thinking I'm fine, when maybe down the road somebody says, oh God, that was awful. I'm like, well, I wish somebody would have told me.
Better someone that you tell you that does it on the regular than, some fool on Twitter.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't really listen to that any.
Me neither, but still,
No, yeah, no. Better to listen to somebody like you that does it all the time than somebody just trying to troll you on Twitter. Definitely.
Yes, sir. You got it.
Well, wait, that is about all I got. You mentioned some of the shows you got coming up. Some of them might be before this actually comes, but best of luck out there. Ruthless Pro getting back out there, maybe with Flophouse again. And what? I can make a clip that we'll release before. What do you got coming up in immediate future where people can look forward to hearing your commentating?
I am all over the place with Ruthless Pro Wrestling, with Flophouse Wrestling, with Fantastic League of Wrestling, with Divine Women's Athletes, and a couple of other places that will be revealed very soon. You can follow me on all major social media platforms at Peapod Calls, the number 4 and the letter U. Peapod Calls for you. And then if you have inquiries on commentary, either live, color, play-by-play, preferred play-by-play, post-production, or deathmatch, it's Peapod Calls for you at gmail.com.
Definitely. We'll get all of that in the description. And you know what? Before we go, we have talked about, you and me being on a commentary team together. Luckily you prefer play-by-play because I pretty much prefer the color stuff. So boom, we don't got to worry about that.
Hey, let's do a show together. I'd be down.
Oh, dude, I'm talking about we need to make that happen. Well, anyways, I can hear my dog rolling around, so I better go check on him. Thank you again for taking the time to talk to me tonight. It was awesome getting to,
of course,
talk Magic, talk wrestling, and hell, me being a newbie to Magic, it's fun hearing different intricacies from somebody that's been playing a little bit longer than I have.
Well, it's fun game, and that's all I'm about is trying to have more fun in life.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Well, have a good one now.